our regular meeting, Monday, May the 4th, 2026. Commissioner Hopkins, if you could lead us in the pledge, and I'll lead us in the prayer. Lord, we just thank you for this day. Thank you for all your many blessings. Thank you for your hedge of protection around us in the fire and your continued rain that you've blessed us with. I pray, Father, that you would continue to watch over us as we lead this county. Help us to do it in a way that's pleasing to you. We thank you, Father, for all your many blessings. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I was trying to do that.
That's okay.
It didn't rain.
That's, well, it's still $20.
Oh, geez.
All right, first thing we have is the adoption of the agenda. I do have a couple of changes I would like to make if we can, just for simplicity of everything running smooth. We're going to change item H in new business, which is Mr. Calvin Hayes. We're going to change his to presentations and announcements, so they don't have to sit here the whole time. And also item L, which is, let's see, let me make sure. No, it's not item L. L to C.
Consider approve EMS software for run reports and billing efficiency is L.
Yep. Oh, that's I. Okay, yes, we're gonna move the L for EMS up to, C. And that's C on, under new business, so that we can get all of that taken care of at one time. So if he needs to step out, he can. Y'all got that?
Yep.
All right, I make a motion, we accept the agenda with the changes and, that I just stated.
Second.
Any more questions, changes? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
Mr. Administrator, your office light? Yes, sir, it is not. I left my book in there.
We're gonna go ahead and proceed. Next item we have is approval of the minutes for our regular meeting, April the 6th, 2026, and the called meeting we had April 22nd for 2026.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second those.
Thank you. Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas, stepped out. Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, just bear with me just a minute. Is presentations and announcements. Let me get to this. Is yours written bigger? Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to get through this. I don't feel worthy to even present this because of all the things that Mr. Calvin has done, not only for the country, but also for the county, and the dedication he had into not only recognizing his abilities, but using his abilities selflessly to prosper the county and our country by serving in it. So the commission, Wayne County Board of Commissioners resolution honoring the life and service of William Calvin Hayes. Whereas William Calvin Hayes was born on May the 9th, 1929 and passed away on April the 14th, 2026 at the age of 96, and whereas Mr. Hayes was a faithful and devoted member of the United Methodist Church, demonstrating a lifelong commitment to faith, service, and community, and whereas Mr. Hayes honorably served his country as a member of the United States Army, reflecting courage, discipline, and dedication to the ideals of our nation, and whereas Mr. Hayes dedicated 33 years of his professional career to Rayonier, exemplifying a strong work ethic and commitment to excellence. And whereas Mr. Hayes made history as the first Wayne County Administrator, serving for 42 months beginning February the 5th, 1963. And whereas as the first county administrator, Mr. Hayes established the standard and practice for the role of Chief Executive Officer and head of the administrative branch of Wayne County government, leaving a lasting legacy of leadership, integrity, and public service. And whereas the Wayne County Board of Commissioners recognize the profound impact that Mr. Hayes had on the governance and development of Wayne County and the example he set for future leaders to follow. Now therefore be it resolved that the Wayne County Board of Commissioners does hereby honor and commemorate the life, service, and legacy of William Calvin Hayes, expressing deep gratitude for his contributions to Wayne County and its citizens. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Board of Commissioners extends its sincere condolences to the family and loved ones of Mr. Hayes and joins the community in mourning his passing while celebrating his remarkable life. And be it furthermore resolved that this resolution be spread upon the official minutes of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners, and that a copy be presented to the family of Mr. Hayes as a lasting tribute.
Yes.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve this resolution
I'll
for
second that.
Mr. Hayes for all he did for us and the county, and really setting a basis for what we should follow. Maybe not always followed it, but he certainly set the standard level very high for what we needed to do in this county by being the first one. Can you imagine what a challenge that was to be the first and to try to set up the rules and regulations and get everything in line? We have people to follow now, and sometimes they're not followed correctly, but he certainly set a high precedence for everybody else to follow, and we thank y'all for that. We're gonna sign this, they're gonna put it in a plaque, and we'll take a picture down front if you're good with that.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
I was gonna say, pass that blue pen down.
I know it. I'm off my game right now.
For, I don't think my mic's working. For Drew and Bob, I'll tell you, when we got to go eat lunch with Mr. Hayes, the question was asked to him, what made the county decide to go to a county administrator form of government versus the commissioners doing it? And his answer was simple. He said, yeah, they were spending too much money. So that's why they brought him in, was to control the spending.
Sir, either we can go down there if y'all give us just a minute. He's gonna put it in this plaque.
Okay, who's pen?
You want me to go get my phone?
I was gonna get you to do it, 'cause your handwriting might be better. I heard you put in fourth day of
All right, next item is citizens' concerns. We have none. Public hearings is to close and abandon Stevens Drive. Do we have anybody here objecting to closing Stevens Drive? And we've already run that in the paper.
Yes,
Did we get any objections there?
because they have to show up at the public hearing,
Okay.
so.
Anybody have any objections to it? Okay. So we need a motion to close.
Well, we'll vote on it on 10A.
Okay.
under New business, yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Next item is under old business, consider and approve to close and abandon Hazel Lane, tabled from April the 6th, 2026 meeting. We did discuss this, and look at an alternative way to, either close it, and if it was closed, to, fix that road where we were able to do that safely. I don't think it's safe now. But we have a lot of roads in Wayne County that are the same way. I don't know why, whether it was getting right-of-ways or whatever, but we were unable to make them where that if semi-trucks came in. Tim, do you want to talk on this some, or do you want me to?
Well, the thing is we've talked to one of the landowners, and we've got a nod now, so that we can correct it, whether we close Hazel Lane or not. You know, this is dangerous. Me and my wife went out there and we drove around twice, and I was very uncomfortable making that turn back towards back towards Broadhurst. It's just not a good thing. Another thing with Hazel's Lane, I'll tell you this, I sat there and we waited about 15 minutes. We had two trucks come on Hazel Lane coming from Mannytown Road going across to Hazel. They never slowed down. And then we had a big log truck that come through there. I watched it go. It missed that 6-foot ditch by about 12 inches. If we'd had a lot of rain, it wouldn't have been a good day. So right now, we've talked to the landowner. We've got a head nod where we would make a correction. I think we're going to process purchasing probably about a half an acre to make that safe, so it'll be a 90-degree turn the way it's supposed to be for both directions. And I would like to, can I make a motion that we not close Hazel Lane or until this gets resolved?
Well,
How do we want to do that?
I think what we need to do is just take this off of here.
Yep.
As a tabled item until we can figure out how to repair the other road where it can be made safe. So I think we'll just take it off the agenda. And then once because the numbers I've heard are frightening, but we do want to do what's right and make it safe. So I think we'll just take it off of there. We will not close Hazel Lane at this time.
That's right.
And we'll put it back on the agenda when we have more information. So, because it looks like it's gonna take a little while to get this taken care of. I know Mr. Elton and them have been looking into it, but I don't wanna have to keep bringing this up. And if anybody's here from Hazel Lane, them have to keep showing up, until we can, get a resolution to fixing that one road before we close Hazel Lane, if we do in fact close Hazel Lane.
Okay, so if we do fix Mannytown at Broadhurst and Garden, am I gonna have to come back and bring it back up and close Hazel Lane, or as soon as y'all fix that, how's that work?
Can I answer that? How I feel about it?
You can, yeah.
How I feel about it is, we're gonna get this fixed regardless if we do Hazel Lane or not. This is bad. Trust me. Like I said, I went around it twice. Myself, me and my wife, and I was very uncomfortable. Once we get this done, and we've got a sketch of it, there's a sketch of it up there, we'll go back and we'll evaluate whether we need to close Hazel Lane or not. Now that we've got the danger and the biggest concern eliminated and everybody's comfortable, then I would personally think we wouldn't have to, that you wouldn't have to bring it back up. That would be a decision that we would make, being that we've corrected the danger. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
Kenny?
right, yeah, and we would have to vote on it, and we'll bring
Yeah.
it. I don't know if Amanda will have to run it in the paper again. You do? Okay. So either way, once we get it figured out, what's the most feasible way to get this road correct, then we'll proceed with whether we need to close Hazel Lane, because it is a 5 vote to close it. Okay? So we
All right,
don't,
so what's your motion gonna be?
okay, I make a motion, we take Hazel Lane off of the tabled item until we have repaired the other road, or at least have a fix for the other road. I would like it to be completed before we do
Yes.
anything with Hazel Lane, so that we don't have any accidents on our part.
Okay,
So you need a second for that?
yes.
I second it.
Okay. Call roll when you're ready.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Good? Okay. Next item is Riker Carter, consider and approve requesting a variance to subdivide 188 acre tracts on Owens Road, and this was tabled from April the 6th, 2026. I don't see Mr. Carter here. I make a motion that we do not approve this variance because we have an amendment to our subdivision ordinance that's going to take care of this for any future sales and make it fair for everybody else and not just give a variance to one person.
Second.
Thank you. Anybody got any comments? And we'll go in, I'll read the new line item on the subdivision ordinance when we get to it, so everybody understands what we're going through. So we have a motion and a second, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Can y'all hear us in the back? I don't think our mic. That's on? Okay. Anybody not want to hear us?
Don't ask that.
All right, so that's all of old business. Under new business, consider and approve closing, and abandoning Stevens Drive. That's the one that we just talked about. Under public hearings, nobody is here to represent not closing Stevens Drive.
Who's district is
Where's it at? Nobody else?
Yeah, I think it's in Boots.
that? Is it my district?
It is, yes, sir.
It's, I think it's off of Old Doctor Town.
Oh, Doctor, yeah,
Off Old
Yeah.
Dr. Town.
yeah.
Yeah, it just goes to some houses down there. I think Madam Clerk contacted all of them, or either sent them a letter to everybody to make sure everybody was willing to close that road.
They all signed a petition, and then I went to the tax assessor's office, and we actually emailed a letter to all of them, telling them that we had received a petition, we were having a public hearing, they would need to show up at this meeting if they opposed it, or if they were for it.
I knew it was mine. I was hoping one of y'all would want to claim it.
Well, you might want to get somebody's number when they go to complaining about that road, because the county won't does the county maintain it now?
Yes.
Okay, so when they go to complaining, you can give them whoever's number that wanted to shut it down,
Gotcha.
okay?
Well, listen, speaking of that, there's a road, we did B. Baker, and then there's another part we didn't do. And somebody called me about that, so I told them the reason we didn't, we spent about $20,000 trying to get people to give it right away. They wouldn't give it right away. I said, you need to go get your neighbors. Your neighbors saying they don't want to give it the right away, so you need to go get them put pressure on them to get it right away, then we'll talk about it.
Right.
So, I told him, hadn't heard from him, so.
Okay. All right, so with all of that information, I guess I'll make the motion to close and abandon Stevens Drive since there's no opposition.
I second that motion.
Okay? Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes?
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
Next item, consider and approve change order for Ag Center for insulation. Go ahead.
Yeah, come on.
I'm tired of talking to people about it, but I think I got an answer.
So, we talked about this a while back about not doing insulation. We had some good reasons. We looked at different options. Closed cell was one of them, which was spray foam. So at that time, we decided not to do insulation. Well, after talking with the rectors and some manufacturers, we were advised that if we don't do insulation, there's going to be an excessive amount of wind noise from the expansion and contraction of the standing seam roof. And depending on the amount of wind, it could be very excessive. To have a better product out there, I would like to recommend us putting insulation on it. The type of insulation we're asked is AgriGuard. I got some specs on here, talking with the vendor and all, and it sounds like it's a heavy-duty tarp with insulation in between it and the purlin. So it'll actually close up, as long as it's installed correctly. It should be a long-lasting product. They don't guarantee anything above, the standard insulation 1-year agreement, but from different ones we talked with, and they give me a dairy farm up in, where was that dairy farm at? Sorry, would it be? Anyway, they gave me some examples of where they installed it and it's lasted several years, like 10 to 15 years. So I think it's gonna be a good product for what we're intending to use it for. It's not gonna be out in the sunlight. It does have UV protection. It's supposed to be bird resistant, and they gave me some literature on that, on how it doesn't have ribbons in it for the birds to take the roof. So it sounds like the product we wanna go with. When we bid it out, the option was, for the material was $56,908, and the price to erect it was $62,000. So if we choose not to erect it, when this is happening and we go back to do it later, you're probably gonna look at double that price for them to take the roof off and then have to put it back down. So if we're gonna do it, I'd recommend we do it now and not wait till later. I've tried to find some other options, see if there's like a spacer we could put between it, and what I understood was you can't make it work.
That's right.
It falls apart or falls out. So that's my recommendation. We go ahead and do it now instead of trying to fix something, a problem later on.
I talked to several people, one we have locally and some that were in another county. Theirs were not the standing seam. So the standing seam it has no screws in it, it has clips only. So the standing seam goes up, correct me if I'm wrong, and it bends over.
That's right.
And it runs the entire length of that sheet all the way to the top. There's no breaks or anything for it to leak. I spoke to an expert here in Wayne County, and he said, I don't want to direct you in the way, I just want to give you the information. So this entire sheet goes all the way up. The only thing that holds it to the next sheet is that crimp over the top. So expanding and contracting is going to cause popping. There are purlins that run across that keep it from bending down if it ever got weight on it or whatever. And that's also going to cause a noise. And we discussed some mobile homes that I have that have metal over the top and they don't have seams in them. It's folded and bound together, and they are noisy and it doesn't take much wind to get it that way. And the guy I talked to here in Wayne County that I feel like is an expert, or I wouldn't have called him, said that he recommended that we go with this. After us talking, the only thing we decided was not to go with a white, to go with a gray or a black if we decide to do this, because the foam that I had thought about using would go in between, but there's nothing to hold it there. If you use a glue, from the amount of heat that comes off of the tin, is gonna cause a problem with them falling out or falling on somebody. And that's what he recommended, that we go on and go ahead and get it done. And then if we have a problem later on, with birds, because some people said you have problems with that, but apparently this is a new kind that has a harder surface to it that will keep the birds. You're gonna have birds, I don't care what you do. I mean, I have them in my gas tank on my camper. So they're gonna go in and nest, but we'll just hopefully be able to take care of it. But I feel like from talking to him, that we would be better off to go ahead and get it put up now, and if we have problems down the road, because I explained to him, I said, I don't want to waste taxpayers' money, and if we don't need this, then we won't approve it. But he said, if you don't do it, he's afraid it's gonna make so much noise and distractions in there that you're gonna wish you had it done, and like he said, pay double to get it done later.
And this will also help with any condensation if we would have had it, because it's gonna take away that air gap in between the roof and the purlin, so condensation won't be an issue for us on this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about, because that's, to me, that was what we had talked about for the insulation. They said the temperature of the metal changing, it would drip down on the people.
Correct.
So now we're talking about it's more of a noise dampener.
It does two things.
Or does
It
both?
has to do three things. It'll also do a R value on there, so some of the heat will be gone, which with an open building like this, I wasn't concerned with the heat.
Right.
We got a rigid in on it as well, so the heat will dissipate through that, but it'll do three things. It'll help with the noise, which I was not aware of when we first talked about not doing insulation at all. And then it'll help with the R value, and then it'll also help with condensation, which I wasn't really concerned as much with the condensation, but I knew some that had issues. We talked to several Statesboro out there at the Molasses, different ones, and none of them concerned any issue with condensation. So that wasn't really a big factor on mine at the moment, but with this, if there was condensation, it's going to eliminate it, or should eliminate it.
And he did, were you through, I'm sorry. And he did say it would not be a problem with moisture now, but if we ever decided to close in an end of that for some reason, you would already have the insulation up there to prevent it from
Bless
having moisture.
How's this funded?
I'm sorry, it's through SPOS fund.
Bruce Foster?
I talked to a couple of experts too about this same thing, and this is a lot better material than what we used to put in ag barns. I mean, we did have problems with those because they had seams, but this system don't have seams, and that tarp makes it tighter when they pull it tight. So I think it'll be good in the long run. I think it'll be the best way to go.
Okay, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I make a motion that we go with the,
Second, Mr. Chairman.
You good, Amanda? All right, call the roll when you're ready.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
All right, next item, consider and approve purchase of Lucas chest compression devices for EMS. You want to come up or not, or?
Again, basically the reason why we're requesting another one, we actually had 4 of the off-brand, they weren't real good. Anyway, we returned those to get a, credit on those. We purchased 3 of them, and we got 4 trucks now. So I would like to have another one to put on that 4th truck, that way we're all up to speed, and I ain't gotta take one off of one and put on another. Or the BC could have one when the day truck goes home, and then if he gets to the call first, he can go ahead and start CPR and start doing everything else, and then the ambulance arrives, the first responders get there, and you ought to be ahead of the game on that.
Okay.
I do have the money in the budget to cover
Okay.
the new one.
And they're compatible with the other ones?
Yes, it's
Okay.
exactly the same thing as the other.
Okay. And the reason we only got one bid?
Can't tell you that, I mean,
I think Stryker's the only one.
They're
that
the
does
only
those.
one.
Stryker's
They're-
the only one that has
That's right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but anyway. So I make a motion that we approve this because I don't want them to get the wrong truck that doesn't have one on it when they come to get me.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes,
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes,
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes. We're also gonna do item L, consider and approve EMS software to run reports and billing efficiency.
Yes, sir.
He has, I think Paul's got it up there.
Yeah, these are a lot of the issues that we were having, that we're having now. We had the free version at one time, I mean, the paid version at one time, but it was the generic version. Then things were going good with it. Then they changed to ESO. ESO was a disaster. And we have been playing catch up. We went back to the free version of Industry. The new version is more than just the basics. It actually enhances data collecting and things that I have to respond and give to the state that they require. It quickens up the reimbursement rate
Right.
from the insurance companies. So it eliminates a lot of the delay in man hours trying to do with what we're doing with the free version. And it just kind of expedites everything. Plus it gives me collect data on a number of things, where calls are, how many calls are, what we're going to, what type of calls, things of that nature.
And if I may add, Commissioners, and this is Mel, I apologize, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you about this, been kind of busy lately, but, Cameron Mattingly with Anchored in Wellness, y'all know what he does for us in reference
Yeah.
to, you know, handling a lot of the opioid abuse in the county and working with the jail system and stuff. He actually contacted me about this software program and said that the CDC grant that Anchored has received, that the CDC, so, I don't know, through him somehow found out about it, and they were actually excited about it and talked to Cameron. And so what Anchored is gonna do is they're actually gonna pay half of the cost of this because,
Initially, and maybe eventually paying for all of it
yeah,
per year.
that's
So it
how,
won't cost us anything.
that's how excited they are about Mel getting the software system for EMS because of
What
the
I can-
reporting value that it'll do
I
for
could
Anchored.
share, like we go to mental health, or we go to an overdose, suicide attempt. We can, real time, give him that information. And what we're doing is furthering care, giving specialty care to that patient. So when we leave, we ain't gotta worry about coming back an hour later and they've actually done something. You know, or help somebody get off the drugs or something, you know. It benefits them greatly, and it benefits us too, because it completes the circle. You know, too many times we've left people at home that didn't want to go, and gone back to them, and, you know, and worst scenario.
yeah.
So it
But,
brings,
you know,
it
we're
brings,
partners, you know,
yeah.
he committed to me with it and everything, and, we discussed it, and he's ready to get started with it.
Okay.
so it just brings them into the loop a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And so it benefits the patient, benefits EMS, and it's gonna benefit Anchored as well.
It's
And the
all
community.
good stuff.
Yeah, very much.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve this software, for running reports and billing efficiency.
I second it.
Any questions, comments? Comment. Hadn't heard nothing but good about you. Mel, I appreciate the job you doing. I know you got some big shoes to fill that have been needed to be filled for a while, and I appreciate you stepping up. Like I say, that's all I've heard is good about you, so apparently you doing something right. And, you know, we've talked about a lot of people, have asked, you know, with the election going on, why we have to go up on taxes and things like that. This is exactly part of the reason is because we have to stay up with the current computer programs, whether anything that we need to have top of the line. So when y'all go, y'all can work on a patient and do what you need to do. If it frees up your time with this machine doing chest compressions, then you can work on another problem that they may have going on at the same time. I'm not a paramedic, but I can imagine what y'all go through, and this is proud of this board for approving these things so that y'all can have the technology that you need, because technology is currently changing rapidly. It's just like when you used to buy a computer. When you bought it, it was already outdated when you got it to the house. And that's the same thing with some of this stuff, but I'm just glad we're able to make sure that y'all have the best equipment you can have.
I got with Miss Amanda, because I heard we had this program called Hand Heavy. I didn't know anything about it until some of the guys started talking. I'm like, where is it at? Needless to say, it wasn't where I could find it, but me and Miss Amanda got together and we found it. And I got hold of them. They're not gonna charge us anything for what was taken from us. I met with them and they're in process now. I just uploaded my policies and procedures to them. And what that does is we can go to a pediatric patient, we click a button, he gives us our medications. It eliminates guessing the weight and guessing, you know, and errors
Right.
that could be catastrophic. It really enhances even more so for the county and for my medics as well. So,
Proactive instead of reactive. I
and
like it.
It'll be active Wednesday. I
Yep.
just sent her my drug concentrations today, and the policies on that as well.
Okay.
So it's all being uploaded, they're building it for us, and they'll be getting it to us Wednesday. The image stream won't be ready until November. It takes that time to get the bill, you know, because they're catered to us. They're specifically doing it, designing it for Wayne County. And nobody else will have it, just like we got it.
Okay. Thank you for being cognizant of what we need for the EMS to keep them up to the level that we expect y'all to give us.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion in a second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Where are we at now? D, consider and approve bid for pre-engineering metal building for animal control shelter. He's got it up there.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah, I can
With
see
the
it.
glare.
Here, I can look.
Dixie Builders is above there.
All right, so we got this. This is coming out of ARP money. We had discussed this before. And this is to get us on the right track for what we need to do. For this, Dixie Builders was the low bidder of $103,225.62. And this is for the animal control shelter that we are.
What's the square footage, Mr. Chairman?
It is 120 feet by 30 feet. I don't know what our current, the one that the city has now is. I don't think it's that big, and I don't think it's gonna be, I don't think it has as much covered space. This one's to accommodate for everything expanding, not only the number of animals that we get called on, but also the personnel that we have to take care of this.
Say again? We don't have an address yet, but you know where the extension office is? On Sunset Boulevard. If you're looking at the extension office, it's that vacant lot right there on the left-hand side of the extension office.
The extension office is 1900 Sunset.
Yes. Mr. Franks would know that.
Is it, what, this be a Sunset address?
Yes.
Yes,
I'll have a sunset
yes.
address. Once we get
United
it.
States, it's on Sunset Road. That's good.
Yeah.
Is the Peel Mill still out there across the street? It used to be.
Is what?
I didn't say nothing.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad that, you know, y'all discussed and everything once we decided to build this thing that we're building it in a way we can add on to later on if we needed to. I think that was great. I also like the idea, you know, y'all went around and visited other shelters using the cement and stuff for disease and easier cleanup and everything. I personally would have liked it to be a little bit more bigger, but I think this will meet the needs of what we currently have. And we've designed it in a way later on, maybe 5-10 years down the road, if we see we need more, we can add on to it. And we've got, what, about an acre and something? Acre and a half. So, with that said, Chair, I would, Dixie Builders too, I think they're local county, they're not far from here, Baxley.
They're building the fire station over on Pine Street right now.
So they're our neighbors, you know, and they're low bid, and I've asked some people and they said they do a good job, so I make a motion that we go with Dixie Builder.
Okay. Who seconded it? Boo. You got that, Madam Clerk? Any more questions, comments?
I think it's in a good location because if we had a large animal situation like we have with the fires, that barn behind the extension office could be set up real quick,
Okay,
you know, with shelter, so it's a good fit.
okay. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Franks,
Yes,
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Item E, consider and approve bid for surplus property map and parcel number 97-46-2. This is on Roth Road. Okay, we did not get any bids.
It was advertised.
And what was that lowest bid? Do you know? I'm sorry for putting you on the spot.
I don't remember what we set the minimum bid at.
oh, that's 10 on a new bid.
Do we want to bring that back next time and possibly lower the bid, or do we just want to put that under surplus?
I think probably what we can do, Mr. Chairman, is just leave it in our surplus property, because this was a piece of property, and I've explained to y'all before, from time to time, a citizen or an individual will call me and say, hey, we noticed that Wayne County owns this property, we're interested in it, and I'll bring it to y'all, and y'all set the minimum bid, which is typically the taxes owed on it. We set the minimum bid, and then at that point, our county attorney gets it together to advertise. We advertise the property, accepting bids, and those people that are interested in the property typically will put a bid on it and get it. Well, that same scenario happened in this case, except for when we advertised the property, for whatever reason, the person that initially contacted me just, I guess, decided not to bid on it. So
I did reach out to him.
Yes.
I did reach out to the person and told him
So
that
they-
it was coming up for
They
bid.
were aware.
Okay.
So I guess it's kind of, y'all, I mean, you know, if somebody else, because, and that's what we have to keep in mind. Typically, the properties that I bring to y'all are the properties that did not sell at the courthouse steps. So it's usually properties that a lot of people's not interested in. So, from time to time, I know the county attorney and I have talked about different ways to try to get some of this property moved back onto the tax rolls. In the meantime, it's just a matter of if somebody express interest, and we've sold quite a few here recently, at least 2 or 3, where people have called me, expressed interest, I brought it to y'all put a minimum bid, and those folks bid on it and purchased the property. But on this one, they didn't, so I guess my suggestion would be just leave it on the surplus property, and if somebody expressed interest, we'll bring it back up.
Okay. So since we did not have a bid, we don't need to vote on this?
No.
Okay. All right, and where, do we have that on our website where they can find surplus properties that we have that are for sale, just not, I guess, not publicized.
Well,
in the
we
news.
don't have it on our website, and I guess we could put it on our website, but then we would just have to, people would have to understand if they tried to contact us about it, it's not like they could go to it and immediately put a bid on. They
Right,
would have
cause
to-
there's not been a value.
Right, we would have to, if they expressed interest in a certain piece of property, we could then bring it to you and have a
Okay.
minimum bid set so we could advertise.
So they would just need to come to the commissioner's office and show interest, and then y'all can put them on the right track
But-
for,
But I like the idea though, that's what we can do when our, especially when our new website rolls out, because as, you know, a couple of months ago, the clerk came to you about needing a new website because our current host is going out of business, so we had to pick a new host. When that's up and running, that would be a good time, I think, maybe to put a, I don't know what you would call it, put a place on there somewhere to have that information so people could look at it and see, and that might generate some interest.
Mr. Administrator, when we first started this, way back 6, 7 years ago, the commissioners actually voted on certain properties to be surplus properties, and so it hadn't been done in a while, so we might want to go through there and kind of list out the properties and have it come before the board to name them actually surplus properties, so that we know the intent's there to actually sell those specific
Okay.
properties. I mean, because it's been a while since we've updated and gone through the list of ones we were working on too.
But I think, you know, with the new website and everything that you're gonna do, if you do an auction, you can have all the county, all the property that the county currently owns. And we can go ahead and put a price on it, so they could actually search. If they decided they wanted J 52, they can look, J 52 is, this is what currently, we're asking the minimum bid. I think that's great, they could search on their own with this new website.
Yeah, just for my clarification, from a legal standpoint, if we did that and we brought a list of properties to the commissioners and they went ahead and set minimum bids on them, and someone expressed interest, would we still have to go through the advertising process?
You still have to go through
or-
the advertising process, but it would cut down on having to come before the board to
Yeah.
vote to initiate that process and then come back and vote to approve the sale.
I
At that point, I
gotcha.
think we could just start the advertising process and then put it on the agenda for them to vote on.
once they showed interest.
Well, once they've actually bid on the property, once
Okay.
they've taken bids for the property.
I think it would streamline the process.
Well, that's what I'll do then. I'll work with the county attorney and maybe June, July, try to
Okay.
bring y'all a list of properties with some minimum bids and have y'all vote on them.
Okay.
And two, while you're looking at properties, we have a lot of properties that are landlocked, that no way to get to them. They're not any good except for the people that their property joins. Maybe we could do something with that as well.
We can, because in the past, seems like it was last year sometime, we had one that was like that literally, the only person that property was useful for was just what you're saying, Mr. Gordon, was the neighbor. And I think that's what we did, wasn't it, Mr. Beaver, is like we offered it, because the state law does allow us to, or allow y'all to make that decision and offer it to that landowner, and we have done that in the past. And we can look at those that are like that and do the same thing.
Okay. All right, so we're not gonna vote on that one. Item F, consider and approve agreement with Wayne County Health Department for them to administer flu shots during the health fair. This is something we do every year, for them to allow, to be able to administer those and keep people healthy.
I make a motion, we, do that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
I'm on that board.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes,
Next item is G, consider and approve agreement between the Wayne County Transit and Ware County Board of Health Wellness Program. I don't think there were any changes to that,
No.
so we're just, this is the same one we vote on every year because we can't have but a one-year contract, so I make a motion that we accept this.
I'll second.
do I need to say this agreement with, between Wayne County and Ware County? Or you got it?
I got it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes,
Commissioner Franks?
Yes,
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
All right, next item, consider and approve amending the subdivision ordinance. Everybody had that in their book, and this is where I was talking about, we did, we're looking at amending the ordinance, and the part that would be amended is this is the amended part. The division of land into parcels consisting of at least 15 acres where no new street is involved for the sole purpose of the single-family dwelling or for uses consistent with the conservation use valuation assessment, which is CUVA. Any parcel tracts of land qualifying under this exception shall be allowed to further divide the qualifying tract parcel for the express purpose of transferring the property to a relative within the second degree of civil reckoning. Nothing in this definition shall be construed as changing the qualifications to the CUVA covenant. And that's what we are looking at changing it to, and the main thing is to 15 acres. I know Commissioner Franks and I had talked about, you know, a lot of people want to buy property out in the county. They want to have a farm, and I think this would be appeasing to them and letting them have that opportunity that can't afford a 200 or 300 or 400 acre farm. They would be able to buy some smaller lot acreage and something that's more affordable to them, but yet still would not have to be in a subdivision.
I'll make the motion to approve the ordinance amending.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any more questions, comments?
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, you know, a lot of these ordinances, covenants, whatever, were written a long time ago. Times change, and I think that's part of what we have to do as a commission to make sure that we either amend them, or some of them we just have to take them out, whatever it is, to make sure that we are making it as convenient for the public as possible, and also for Wayne County. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
yes,
Commissioner Franks?
Yes,
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes. Next item is J. I'm on the right one. Yes. J, contract, consider and approve contract with Atlas to tank road inspection. This is in the amount of $26,000. They, just as a reminder, I think Atlas has, I don't know, can I say that? They've already done a lot of pro bono work to help us out with this problem that we have. We know there's a problem. I think this is just to give us a third-person perspective on what needs to be done, or at least to acknowledge that we do have a problem with that road, and it's not a biased opinion because it's a third party. And that, what they're looking at is for $26,000 for them to come in and do the proper inspection to prove or disprove, you like how I put that, prove or disprove that this road is worthy of state standards, which our contracts hold us up to, or hold them up, we are hold them to.
Point out, Woody, that 26,000 includes all the laboratory testing, the core samples, all of it, so it's fairly good deal on our end.
Okay. Okay, so I make a motion that we approve that contract with Atlas for the inspection.
I'll second that, but I have a question.
Okay.
Mr. Beaver, can you fill us in on the letter that we'd asked you to send Sykes Brother Paving Company?
I don't know if the board ever took an action to actually send a letter or not, but I did speak with Mr. Drawdy and Mr. Purcell. concerning the contract with, Sykes Brothers Incorporated. During that meeting, there was kind of a consensus, maybe the best step is to send a letter to them, kind of giving them a more certain deadline, and just to catch the whole board up in case not everybody's aware of what's kind of transpired. Mr. Purcell, and feel free to chime in here if I say something wrong, had reached out to Sykes Brothers Incorporated probably about 45 days ago, yeah, it's probably been about 45 days ago at this juncture, requesting a written detailed plan of the repair work or what was gonna be done so that they could sign off on it. And again, I think the road's in such a condition, based on what our engineers are saying, that just going in there and filling in a couple of potholes, it's gonna require a lot more work than that. So that's what the request was for the written plan. To the point when we met, we had not heard a response from them. So the kind of consensus was to try to light maybe a fire under and get some reaction out of them, to send them a letter with a certain deadline in there. Once we kind of got into looking at some of the language on the bond, talked to the administrator, also talked to Ms. Purcell about maybe our first step should be reaching out to the bonding company, instead of, because it looks like that's where the compensation for the subcontractors are gonna come from. Just kind of making sure we were in line with those and what kind of stepping, outside of what we need to be doing as far as staying in line with the bond. I didn't want them to come back and have an argument against the county that they shouldn't be covering the expenses there. So we had that conference call with the bonding company, I think last Wednesday or Thursday. Talked to the claims adjuster. It was with Nationwide, who's actually the bonding company for the performance bond, and kind of explained to them the situation with Tank Road, that in our estimates that there's probably not 500 square feet of that road that's in compliance with DOT standards at this juncture, and we just didn't feel, again, like the repair work was something that's gonna be just a small undertaking. It was gonna take some major overhaul to actually have that road up to the DOT standards. The claims adjuster asked us to give him a few days to get in contact with Sykes Brothers, and he's gonna reach back out to us. So I don't think he's reached back out to Mr. Purcell yet, so we hadn't sent the letter yet. We're gonna give them just a week or so to kind of reach back out to us and let us know what Sykes Brother told them. From indications, and Mr. Trouty, feel free to tell me, or to disagree with this, but from my impression over there, we're gonna try to light a fire under Sykes Brothers so we can get a resolution for this quicker rather than later. So we're kinda gonna let that play out before we send a letter with kind of a strict deadline there of what our expectations was. So that's kind of the course that we took after last meeting, just trying to take a course correction on Sykes Brothers. So.
Thank you, Mr. Beaver. One more question, if I may. Mr. Purcell, you sent a email to Sykes Brothers March 14th.
Sounds right.
Asking them to, what was their plan on fixing this road, that it was not up to the DOT standards. Have you received anything from that email?
I've gotten not anything from the email. I received 2 text messages saying that the plan was on its way. The latest one was last week, and it did not seem like they had started on the plan. They were asking me what areas in Pacific we were talking about. I politely said there wasn't 500 linear foot that was acceptable.
This is,
That was about the last I heard from them.
this is my district, and I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten on this road. And it seems to me like David Sykes is more involved in getting elected than he is running his company. And this is crazy. I mean, something's got to be done. That's all I have, thank you.
So how much time are you looking at giving them? A week?
Probably a week, maybe 10 business days to see if we can get a response out of the bonding company there. I mean, at that point, we can have a conversation on whether we need to keep, we had a draft of the letter, and Mr. Drawdy kind of looked at it and approved it at that point. After we had the conversation with the bonding company, there was a consensus, let's just see, you know, what reaction we get out of them after speaking with the bonding company. We're prepared to send the letter, you know, after, if we hear something back from the bonding company about be a situation, you know, probably that we might need to meet, have a vote of the commissioners, whether we want to terminate the project at that point, because that's gonna kind of, at that juncture, it sets in a motion of dominoes to fall into place of, because at this juncture, we have not paid any of the invoice that was sent by Sykes Brothers. So I know Mr. Purcell's had a couple of subcontractors reach out to him. I think they were gonna reach out to the bond company as well. So, you know, again, it's probably gonna be, it's gonna be the will of the board whether we want to terminate the agreement for failure to make the road in standard or the DOT standards, or we want to kind of give them some more additional time to fix it. But I think we'll have a better idea once the bonding company reaches out to us if they do. Again, if they don't, we can meet again and see if we want to send the letter that we had already prepared about giving them a deadline for this, or if we just want to go ahead and terminate the project at that point.
So I think in a week, if they have not responded, let them know what, maybe, can we do that? Let them know what our intentions are of sending them a letter, and that, maybe that'll.
And we had mentioned that on our conference call. That
Okay,
we were prepared
okay,
to kind of
good.
give them a deadline. They, again, they kind of want to, you know, I know we had some problems getting a hold of them. They too, the claims adjuster said that he had tried to reach out to Sykes Brothers and not been able to get a hold of them, you know, in anticipation of our conference call. So, you know, I know we've had trouble getting a hold of them. So, you know, again, I think a week is probably sufficient time, so we can take the next appropriate steps at that point. and send the
Okay.
letter. But I would anticipate if we don't hear anything from Sykes Brothers or the bonding company by the next meeting, we might have something on the agenda for y'all to consider as far as, you know, terminating the agreement at that point.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I'm like Commissioner Gordon, this has gone on long enough. The last thing I heard was they striped the road so they could wait until they had the proper hot weather to put the asphalt down and lay it in the manner that it should be. And I've had several people call me and tell me what they waiting on. And
Well, the contract, the original contract, they were supposed to start the job, I believe it was June or July. It didn't start until September. Cold weather did catch them. But this has got to go down in the worst paving job in Wayne County. It's got to be the worst.
yeah,
There was hunks of asphalt in people's ditches. Got calls on that. They got tired, a lot of them got tired of waiting and picked it up themselves. But this is all supposed to have been done by Sykes. I am very disappointed in this company.
all right, Madam, any more comments? Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Thank y'all. Item K, consider and approve change order number 2 to the 2026 LMIG. Brandon, you wanna come up here and talk about that?
Yes.
I think I've got most of it, but,
I want to give high praise of this contract. This is Scruggs Company. They got our 2026 LMIG. I'm very, very happy with the job they've done. They've completed all the 26 LMIG projects so far. We've got to go back and do some bridge repair work on Empire. But other than that, I don't have any complaints with this contractor. Excellent job. The DOT awarded us a supplement. It's the Local Road Assistant LRA grant. So we got another, how much was it, $1.3 million. And what I asked Scruggs, would they hold their prices from the 26 LMIG, and they said they would. However, I don't want to spend the full 1.3 with them. There's 3 culverts that I'm going to bid out separately from this contract. So I would like to do the change order for the amount of $1,111,305.63 to the Scruggs Company to add to their existing contract. And I've got the list of roads. We've already got the money approved through GDOT, so it's in the account. So that's what I'm looking for on this one. And later on, I'm going to bring you, I'm going to bid out the culverts. I'll bring that back before you for approval on that. That should be around $220,000 on that project.
okay,
Maybe it'll come in less. That's why I want to get it back.
Okay. So right now, you just want a motion to approve the $111,305.63 to the existing Lemig contract?
Yes, sir, that should bring their grand total to $2,829,898.64.
And that will finish out all of Empire Road?
Empire's already done.
Okay,
Empire's done besides, I gotta do some bridge work. We went and met out there. We tried to taper it, but the tapers didn't really get the effect we want, so we're gonna go back and adjust that. I'm working on it,
okay,
getting the pricing together on how to accomplish that. So that'll be something else, we're looking at right now. But, this will do everything on our other list, we prepared.
okay. So I made that in the form of a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any comments? Thank y'all. I know it's been a lot for y'all to go through, to get all of this squared away. But if you have not ridden down Empire, I encourage you to drive down it. It's amazing, the job that they did on that, except for the bridge.
And just to show, Tank Road could have been just the same.
Yeah,
It could have,
yeah.
it was the same scope of work, widening, re-leveling and surfacing.
Well, and that's what we approved the money for, was just the same job, because we, hold them to DOT standards, and we just didn't get it. I don't think it's the commissioner's fault, because we are, as a governing body, are required to accept the low bid, and that's what we did, and that's what we got. So,
Oh, I was just thankful that we got the grant. That's a lot,
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
So we've already done L, so we're going to item M, consider and approve resolution to amend ACCG 457 deferred compensation plan. Mr. Drawdy, would you like to go through this and explain it?
Yes, sir, I will.
Thank you.
The county has basically two retirement plans for our employees, a 457 and a 401A.
A.
Thank you, clerk. And basically what this is, the 457 we have is pre-tax dollars, and Miss Christine with ACCG, who runs our retirement program for our employees, she came to us, or sent an email to me a while back saying that some of our employees were requesting the ability to roll the 457, if they have funds in a 457, into a Roth IRA. Because it's not in our original plan to do so, that's something that has to be changed by y'all. So she asked if we would be willing to do that, and it cost us absolutely nothing. It's basically just a benefit for our employees. If an employee has money in a 457 and he wants to roll it, or she wants to roll it over into a Roth IRA, y'all voting on this and allowing them to do so will make that possible. So it's just a benefit for our employees.
It looks like a good opportunity to me. They'll pay the taxes up front, but when they get retired and wanna draw their money, they don't have to pay taxes on it again. So,
That's exactly right.
I think that's
Mr.
good.
Franks. Yeah, that's right.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, we approve the 457 and the 457B, is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
Second.
okay.
Any more comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
All right, item 11, appointments, we have none. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, I've got a few, and I'll try to go through them quickly, Mr. Chairman. I was just gonna notify y'all, speaking of surplus property, the county attorney and I were talking the other day, and it's probably been about a year since we put the old Holiday Inn property up. Y'all had already set a minimum price on it, to put it out for sale. We advertised it and we didn't get any bids. It's probably been about a year now. And so what we wanna do is, I'm just gonna let y'all know, it's nothing you have to vote on, but just let y'all know that we are gonna put that out for bid again. So we'll advertise it just like we did before, just to see if we can, and that one's being held by Parker Real Estate. So they'll help us kinda advertise that and get it going.
I think the minimum bid was 300 on
Yes,
Yes.
the minimum bid was 300 that y'all set, like I said, about a year ago, maybe a little over. Speaking of road resurfacing, I put this on here because I was a week or two ago, at Van's eating lunch, and a citizen, Justin Franks, approached me and said, "Hey, that's a good job y'all did on Fanny Head." And I said, "What are you talking about?" I didn't realize it. They said, "You need to ride out there." He said, "They got through resurfacing it," and just as Mr. Purcell's talking about, it was another Scruggs project, and I rode out there. And if you can imagine, if you've been down Empire and you wanna see one that's probably even nicer than Empire, is at least Fanny Head. I mean, they done I'm telling you, they're doing I guess it was, I probably wouldn't think it would be a fantastic job until you saw Tank Road. When you have something to compare it to.
Mike don't need no more flat. He's only getting enough.
But they've already finished, Empire, Fanny Head, Forest Drive, Mount Pleasant, and partial of Post Road. And, there's two other roads, Widmeyer Lane and something that are actively. Murray Trail, that they're actively working on.
Their finishes were.
Okay, all right, well, doing a fantastic job and getting it done extremely quick. I mean, I'm shocked. It's great. I've got an animal control ordinance that Robert Derrick sent me, and I wanna pass out to y'all. But we'll have this on June's meeting, but I wanna go ahead and give it to you and let you look at it. It's in reference to, and as usual, you know, he constantly tries to stay updated on our animal control ordinances, so he's looked at other counties. This one is too, it involves feral cats, and one of them is, and I thought this was kinda apropos, I guess, because he had brought it up to me a couple of weeks ago about requiring signage for people that have invisible fencing. And what he told me was, he said, if you've got an invisible fence, it's probably because you've got a dog. And a lot of counties, what they require is if you do have an invisible fence, is to have some type of signage up there to let people know. Well, literally this past week, he sent me photos of a UPS driver that got bit. He walked into a person's yard, no fence that would make, nothing there make you think that this person may have a dog. Well, what the person had was an invisible fence. So he walks in to deliver a package and he gets attacked by a dog. So basically, this updated ordinance would require, if you do have a visible fence, just have a sign up there saying, hey, beware a dog, invisible fence, something that would allow, whether it be a postal delivery person or just a normal citizen, if you're doing some type of door-to-door activity, if you walk in somebody's yard, it gives you a warning that there is a guard dog or something in the yard. So I'd like to pass that down, Mr. Chairman, for y'all to have, look at. If you have any questions between now and the June meeting, just please let me know and we'll address them. Try to get them addressed ahead of time. If there's concerns, we can reach out to Mr. Derrick and let him answer those for you. Look, I don't have to tell y'all, because I've tried, along with y'all being able to get on Watch Duty, I think is the new app that's all a craze with our wildfire. And then me trying to give y'all updates as we would get them from our EMA director and our fire chief. I can't say enough about our volunteer firefighters in Georgia Forestry. I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail, and Mel and his guys were down there, the sheriff's department was down there, helping out our neighbor, Brantley County, because we know that we would receive the same type of help if it happened here in Wayne County. I do want to put this plug in for Derek Duncan and the Georgia Forestry. I was told, I guess it was Saturday before last, when it was really bad down there. They were having some communication problems that I'm not going to go into, but Jared Huffman told me, he said, and Donnie Ray said the same thing, he said, we haven't seen it, but we've been told that Georgia Forestry and Rayonier basically put in 2 airstrips on the Wayne County side. So, just hats off to those guys, the work they do for us. You know, I mean, we need volunteers. We've talked about it ad nauseum up here about the trouble that not only Wayne County, but across the nation is having with getting people to volunteer. This time of the year, this season we're in, where we're coming out of this horrific fire down in Brantley County. You know, it's easy to spotlight and get people possibly excited about being a volunteer until you actually have to sign up and go through the training. That's where we end up always losing people. So we're having that issue, we're addressing that issue. I know Mr. Hopkins talked to me, and I've talked to the fire chief about all your concerns.
Yep.
And we're gonna push forward until the meantime, but I mean, you know, more and more, like y'all said, and we've talked about, I think, you know, the volunteer system seems to be going away, and a lot of these guys are retiring, and we've gotta have a plan in place.
Paul, can I say something about that?
You absolutely can.
I had talked to Don Wilson a couple of times, and we actually, talking about doing classes at the EMS station for first responders and things like that. So we're hoping to have that up and running before too long, where we can start teaching classes and stuff there, so we can implement the county, citizens to come in and learn CPR and those kind of things and benefit.
Good, good. My last thing right quick like is, Mr. Elton's here, but Kevin's not here tonight. I was gonna brag on him with the road department, but they'll hear it in time. I wanna show y'all something. This top picture was done in, May 23rd of 2024. This is on Robertson Drive, right outside of Odom. And this is an area where the culverts, the beavers kept clogging it up, and the road department would go out 3 to 5 times a year with their backhoe crew, which is typically a 3-man crew, unload the backhoe, you know, break the beaver dam, get it all cleaned out, and, you know, within a matter of months, you're kind of back out there doing the same thing. And a lot of people don't know it, but Wayne County actually has a beaver trapping program where we offer a bounty on tails. Typically, if we're having trouble in a certain area, Mr. Elton and Kevin McReady, they'll call our trapper friends and say, hey, look, we're having issues in this area. We need some beavers trapped out, and was it $50 a tail, I think? Well, you know, part of that is that there's a little bit, I mean, the rep.
Let me back up. It was 50, it's $100 now. You can't get anybody to get out and spend the gas up down.
Right.
We did
Yes.
change that sometime back, so I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So we were talking about it 2 years ago, and we started talking about the ability to use a trapezoidal fence and a pond leveler in certain areas that it'll work. So the road department, and this is the shout out I want to give, is that they're constantly looking for ways, and people don't realize this, they're looking for ways that will save the taxpayers money. And so they tried this, and basically what they did is they spent $546 in material and 12 man-hours and put this trapezoidal fence up in front of this culvert. So an area where they were going out 3 to 5 times a year, for the first time the other day, they had to go out, and that's the bottom picture. So the first time in almost 2 years, they went back to it. They haven't had to touch it. Well, that's man hours, and that's equipment hours that we weren't spending on those locations anymore. And what happened is, Kevin told me he thinks the beaver actually didn't come through the trapezoidal fence, but came through the back side of the pipe and started building the dam there. So they were in there just kind of washing some of that debris out. Another area, that's off Jaime Popple Loop. Same thing, we went out, and I got the wrong date up there. We put
Was
that
that
in.
Mr. Elton in the boat?
That's actually our road superintendent on the end of that T-post driver out there. But they're putting in a pond leveler. And in this particular area, that pond you're looking at, what would happen is the beavers would dam up the culvert, and that pond, there was a bay, you can't see it in the picture, but a bay emptied into that pond. So when the culvert got dammed up, the pond would start backing up in water and back that bay up. Well, literally, probably about 3/10 of a mile down the road, to the neighbor of where that pond is, that bay run behind their house. So when the pond filled up and the bay filled up, his backyard filled up and he couldn't flush his commodes. So once again, 3, 4, 5 times a year, that guy would be calling the road department, y'all gotta come out here and break these beavers up. Well, we put that pond leveler in, the road department put that pond leveler in over 2 years ago. And I think the only time they go out there now is typically if debris, not beavers, but debris just kinda washes up on the grate. And they're, instead of going out there with a backhoe, they're just literally going out there with a rake and just raking the debris off. So, I just wanted to point that out. That's one way that our road department is constantly looking at different ideas that they can use that save taxpayers money, and save us on man hours and equipment hours. And then here's the other benefit of it. I know a lot of y'all on here are hunters and conservationists, as I am. And just the idea that this is a neat way that we can kinda live in harmony with the beaver. We ain't gotta kill him. He's happy. You know, he can build his little home and build his dam, but it's now what it's doing is not affecting us as property owners in the county. So, I just wanted to point that out. I think that's all I have, I believe.
Can I add something to that?
You sure
Yes.
can.
We came across that, technology from a person that, it kind of really surprised me. I didn't know much about it, about his involvement in other things, but, our administrator, the one that brought that technology to us, he had a number of years' experience doing that, so I just have to say, leadership helps you make
That's
some of these
right.
innovations.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Elton, but once again, the road department's great about hearing something and going, that sounds good, let's at least try it. And that's literally, that was Kevin McReady's response. He was like, well, he said, let's try it. He said, we'll track it. He said, he said, and he did. As you saw on my numbers, he kept track of his man hours, he kept track of the material he spent, because he wanted to see, and I apologize, because he gave me a sheet showing basically man hours and equipment hours that they used to spend on those locations, where now they don't spend them anymore. And it's been a great savings to the county. So I can't thank the road department enough. The only last one, the picture I had, is our senior center, which is obviously coming right along.
Senior center?
Yes.
Yes. It looks good. I rode by yesterday, got out, walked around, and, went up to the building, pushed on it a couple times, see if we was gonna turn up.
You just wanted to see if it was real, didn't you?
So, Mr. Administrator, I appreciate you so much, and I'm gonna do as my grandfather instructed me. This was just for you. Years ago, when I first got married, I was young. He said, young fella, I will tell you 2 things that make your marriage last a lifetime. I said, what's that, Pop? He said, it doesn't matter whether you're right, wrong, or indifferent. Say, I'm sorry, and shut up. As a young man, it didn't take much for me to say I'm sorry. Took me years to learn how to shut up. So, Mr. Administrator, I'm sorry.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
Madam Clerk.
In your books, you had the budget review for March 2026. Our revenues were $1,751,396.76. Excuse me, expenditures, 3 million. If I can get the, yes. Yep.
Expenditures, okay, expenditures were $3,068,356.67. And as you can go through what's in your books in reference to the percentage of overages, and I think, other than the state court, you'll see, but of course, that's, the reason it's so high, it's 101% over, but that's obviously in reference to the courthouse, where we've already been paying some, funds out for the
Serve Pro and stuff
Serve
like that.
Pro and things like that in reference to the restoration. And I probably should, I would take this time to just say that as a reminder, we're kind of on track with courthouse restoration and the courthouse annex. I've got a Zoom call tomorrow where we're doing, I think, what is gonna be the final design and draft part of it. And they're still hoping that probably sometime end of July, August, they'll actually be breaking up asphalt. So, anyway, just wanted to throw that in there. The rest of them, though, is your typical overages in reference to, a lot of these, I think, because when I look through the budget expenditures, you know, at the first of the year, we have a lot of, one-time payments that come out, and so it kind of spikes our numbers a little bit. But you can see what the overages are. Like for EMA, it was a one-time purchase of a vehicle that was in it, or is in his budget.
Yep.
So that's why it's showing 8.66 over, and, I think that's all of them. Overall financial summary, county revenues were 7.73% less than budgeted. County expenditures were 0.76% over budget.
Thank you. Mike, did you have something?
Yeah, Mr. Drawdown, back to the, Holiday Inn property. It's been a few weeks ago now, I lost track of time. But I came to your office and a gentleman had made me an offer on the property, and I explained to him that we had a real estate agent handling that. So when I left your office, I went to speak with Kelly, gave her the man's name, telephone number. But I haven't heard anything back. I was wondering if you had.
This is because of that conversation that we're rebidding the property.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what'll have to happen, just like on these other properties that we talked about before, we have to put it out for bid and publicly advertise it so anyone can bid on it.
Okay.
So
She
if he's-
called us about that conversation about somebody expressing interest in it and wanting to
Yeah.
put in a bid.
Yeah.
And so now we're just kind of going through the process of what we have to do in anticipation. Hopefully we'll get a bid on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Also in your books, y'all had, some information from, Ally, the tax commissioner. Detailing the taxes written off, and that's just information for y'all. And then also on the Timber Trees Act, we only had one taxpayer apply for that relief. And that's just information for y'all that was included in your packets.
That it?
That's all for me.
Okay. Commissioner Thomas,
Sir?
comments, concerns, or, items?
I appreciate this board, and, I'm gonna continue to praise this park. So, let's keep doing what we're doing. That's it for me.
Thank you.
I just want to say, allude to what Paul was talking about, you know, everybody talks about the fires and stuff, but, you know, I was right down there in the middle of it. We had people coming from Glenn County and everywhere else with big tanker trucks with water. They had, heavy equipment. They come to my house down Buffalo Road. They were going from house to house asking anybody if they needed anything. Could they soak their house? Could they soak the yards? It was just phenomenal, the community. And I can't, you know, the sheriff's department, y'all had me blocked in 3 different ways. And I'd go 2 or 3 times, well, 2 times a day, and I'd make sure they had water and, you know, they needed a snack or something. And they was diligent. I was really proud of Wayne County, I tell you. And you talking about the landing strip. I heard about that landing strip. I hadn't seen it, but I heard it's awesome. It was about 200 foot wide. It's phenomenal. When a community, you know, and I know Brantley County, you know, there was some issues, communication and stuff, but on Wayne County side, it just made me proud. The other thing is we had the fire there on Howard Road, and y'all contained it very well with the helicopters and stuff. I know we couldn't get our people back in there. I drove back in there, and our people were right there. And I say that to say I stopped by the volunteer fire department. And Drew, we need to talk about this. I was real awesome. When I was there, 2 of my neighbors were there, and they were wanting to volunteer. And I got to talking to the volunteers. 2 of the volunteers are going to retire January of next year. And we only got 3. So that's going to leave us 1. So with all the attention that's been brought to the fires and all the volunteers that I've witnessed, it would be good if we could put something in the paper why it's strike while the iron's hot, where everybody's wanting to volunteer, because right now, if we don't get anybody to volunteer, we're only gonna have one person in Mount Pleasant. And look look what we've just gone through. So, if you could, and anybody else that if you know anybody, and I appreciate you,
We had a couple come through the station, wanting to volunteer.
yeah, and I understand what Paul's saying. This board has really pushed for the last 2 or 3 years, and I understand, the issue about we get the people, but they don't get all the way through the process. And anyway, I'm just grateful. You don't know how grateful it is until somebody tells you to evacuate and you having to leave your house and you got sprinklers on it. I can only imagine what those people went through. I think it was 120 or more, lost their everything. So you don't need the volunteer fire department till you need them. So that's all I got to say.
Okay.
I'm on that same subject a little bit, but we had a Georgia Forestry Commission, one of our guys one year had to get off a dozer and leave it in the woods. I mean, that was a dangerous fire.
Yes.
Because it was up in the top of the trees, At night, if you're trying to work some at night, it's just really dangerous. So my hat's off to them. I tell you, you got to be pretty brave to
Yes.
run a dozer in there where fire's moving as fast as it was there for a while. So, thank you, everybody involved, the sheriff's office, our EMS group, everybody.
Yeah.
I will say this, they were plowing all they could do over there, and it was transferring from the tops of the trees, 30 to 40 foot up in the trees. I mean, they'd be plowing here and the fire would be jumping the trees. I mean, it was bad.
I heard a person that he said he was 7 miles from that fire, and he had some kind of big tree leaves falling in his yard, charred, falling in his yard 7 miles from that fire. It creates its own weather.
Yep.
Yep.
Kudos to everybody involved fighting that fire. I don't have any.
You don't have anything? Okay. I would like to resonate the thanks myself. I realize what a tough job that they have. Some people, I don't do Facebook, because I'm not listening to that mess. A lot of people were down in the way it was handled and things, but did we have anybody die in this fire? Okay, so that was what they told me their number one priority was, and I think they did an exceptional job in doing that because of the amount of people. I understand they wanted to help and things like that, but there has to be some structure to getting that help in there and getting that help out safely, and that was their number one job. And I'm sure all of y'all had a lot to do with it. The volunteers, they spend time away from their families, their homes to go out and help, and then they hear negative things like that, and I can imagine when they got home and said, I did everything I could, and they still complained about it. And that's not the way we are here in Wayne County. And I understand you want to offer your services, but you have to make sure that the person that's intricately guiding this help in here does not send somebody in there that's not qualified or not able to get out. And I think that was the main thing that they were trying to accomplish, and they did accomplish because nobody got killed, thank the Lord. But I do want to say, when you hear stuff like that, or when you see a volunteer fireman, you need to thank them. Not only volunteer firemen. I'm not even going to start because I know all of our first responders had something to do with it at some point or another. And the hours were put in, and I didn't hear any complaining out of any of them because the hours they were working. Sometimes it was probably more than needed to be worked at one continuous time, but that's their dedication to Wayne County and making sure we're safe, and they could stop the fire, slow it down, whatever they needed to do. And I just want to thank them and appreciate all the work that y'all did. If y'all will pass that on to your people and let them know how much we appreciate everything they did. That's all I have. I'm gonna make a motion that we go, let me make sure I'm on my.
Comment?
I was just gonna say that it was humbling to see. I actually come in past Saturday, went to Post Road because I heard it had jumped and it was getting close to Wayne County. As I was going out there, right across from McDonald's on 301, there was a bunch of people, backhoes, bobcat, you name it. And I didn't know what it was, so I pulled in there and was talking with them, and what it was the people volunteering, going to people's yards and helping them.
Yep.
Well, they followed me to Post Road, they got in a truck, and we drove down some of the roads back there to make sure they could get their equipment in there and get out, that they wouldn't get stuck. But it really surprised me how many people. It was really good to see.
Yep.
Your daughter,
Sorry.
your daughter, I know she had to evacuate
Yes,
very soon.
Our house, her ex-husband's house and his mom's house survived, everybody else around them burned. Got real blessed with that one. The only reason why they survived is because he had a brand new trailer moved in, about 4 months ago, and they had cleared the land, the yards, so.
Nothing to
They
burn.
went around them, they got within 100 feet of the house, but that was it.
All right, I make a motion that we go into executive session for personnel. Motion that we return from executive session back into our regular meeting.
Second?
Madam
Commissioner
Clerk?
Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary.
Yes. Okay, while we were in executive session, on personnel was to renew our annual contract for our administrator and also to set his salary. And we set his salary at $137,000 even. And we also, in that same motion, I make the motion that we renew his annual contract.
Second.
Okay. You good? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary.
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Are we live? Okay. So the comments that were made, can we talk about that? I heard you clearing your throat.
I'm clearing my throat because, I've have all this fun,
Okay.
so yeah.
I'm not out of line.
No, you're not out of line.
Not a negative comment about our administrator. The ambition, the willingness to please this board is just second to none. Even with the load that's been handed to him, not only from the new SPLOST projects, problems with roads, the courthouse burning, we have added a lot to his plate that shouldn't have been there. But he definitely has stepped up and made sure that even though it's not part of his job description, so to speak, it was just added on to it, and he has definitely been willing to step up and take care of every situation we've had, whether it's personnel, whatever. He has definitely done everything in his power to make the county the best that it can be, and I think that's the consensus of the board. That's why we hired him, and we're getting exactly what we expected out of him, and that's why I believe that we all unanimously will. Pat, have we voted on it yet? I'm sorry.
Yes, you have.
Okay, so that's why we voted unanimously to pass his salary. We all are frugal with the county's money, and I think this is a step in the right direction into making sure that he's taken care of. Anybody else got any comments? Thank y'all. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Third.